afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Let me see if I can. Technology helps me today. Oh, yeah, I did it. Good afternoon. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you
Hi to all.
for connecting with us today. My name is Juan Carlos Lubriel. My pronouns are he, him, el. I am the Senior Director of Community Health here at Whitman-Walker Health. And I'm here with
Abimael Acosta. My name is Abimael Acosta. My pronouns are he, him, el too.
Vimael. Welcome. Before
Thank
we,
you.
thank you. Before we get started, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Whitman-Walker's Community Health Department has expanded its outreach efforts to this space, the social media space. And we cover various topics about HIV and STIs, sexual health practices, access to care, social determinants of health, and public health interventions. And the community health team is here to educate and support you. And today we are honoring Hispanic Heritage Month. And this year's theme is Unidos, inclusivity for a stronger nation. And what a fitting theme for us at Whitman-Walker, as it aligns with our mission and purpose. Each year Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15 to October 15, so tomorrow we'll close in that, by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contribution of American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. And today we have invited Abimael Acosta, who is the writer of I Am Sylvia, a musical workshop that will be taking place very soon, Saturday, October 22nd at the Bat Theater in New York City. Welcome, Abimael.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So Abimael, what is this month important for you?
This month is very important. Actually, I work in a Hispanic TV station here in California, and we made a beautiful video about the Hispanic Heritage Month. And actually, in the video, we integrate our kids, because it's not only to be aware of our contribution to this country, our traditions, our heritage, because to be aware of what the next generations of Latins in the United States and Hispanics in the United States is going to do here in this nation.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Abimael, so let's talk a little bit about your work as a Latinx creative. When did you enter the world of art?
Wow, that's a very complicated question, because if I try to remind exactly when, it's very difficult, because since I know that Abimael Acosta exists, I'm aware that I wanted to be an artist. The first thing that I started doing, the first discipline that I started doing when I was a kid was drawing. I love to draw. And that was the first discipline that I started developing when I was a kid. But after that, I remember that I was in first grade, and there was this casting for a play, and in this casting, I was supposed to play the ginger cookie guy. I don't know exactly what is the name of the character. It's a small cookie living guy. And there
Oh,
was a problem about this character. I was supposed to play that character. And at the same time, I was watching the rehearsals for the Ratoncito Pérez y la Cucarachita Martina play. That was the main play in that presentation.
uh,
And I was every day in the rehearsals, and I was watching the rehearsals, and I was about to have this small character, the ginger boy,
uh,
and then suddenly this guy that was playing the Ratoncito Pérez got sick. And the teacher was very nervous because there was just a couple, maybe like 2 weeks for the play. And I told her, Mrs., I know the lines. I learned the lines. I can do that. And that was my first experience acting. Then around when I was 12 years old, I don't know if you remember the Chavo del Ocho. Chavo
oh
del
my,
Ocho was a sitcom, a Mexican sitcom,
I think every
and
Latinx person knows who
yeah,
is
Chavo del Ocho, Chespirito. And when I was a kid, I was around 12 years old. I adapted the episodes from El Chavo del Ocho to small plays, and I directed those plays. I acted as Professor Girafales, and all of the kids from my neighborhood were in that play. That means that since I was 12 years old, I was writing, producing, and directing my own things.
wow. So definitely you knew what you wanted to be as an adult.
It was some sort of a play. It was some sort of a play, but the thing that I knew back then it was that I was happy when I was doing that.
Mm, thank you for sharing that. So what has been your experience as Latinx creative? Tell us about your journey.
I started working as a writer and actor, and then producer and director in Puerto Rico. I started as an actor, and it was a great experience because I learned a lot in Puerto Rico. I work in every media. I work in TV. I work in film. I also wrote for radio dramas, theater. But there was a moment that I think that I needed something else, and that was the time when I decided to move to Los Angeles, looking for the American dream. And when I moved to Los Angeles, it was, even though I had a career in Puerto Rico and I was well known as a writer in Puerto Rico, it was hard. It was hard because of the language. It was hard because of my accent. Obviously, I have an accent, and for people, it's pretty complicated to distinguish where I am from because of my
Mhm.
accent. And if it's complicated for people in a daily basis, imagine when you're trying to work here with your accent. Uh, every actor here should have the what they call the American
American
standard
accent.
accent. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's complicated. But I didn't want it to be an actor here. But if since at the beginning, I had to accept every job that comes to my hands because I had bill to pay. And then I started to try to get into not only what people call Hollywood. Hollywood is the industry.
Hmm.
We live in Los Angeles, but Hollywood is the industry. Uh, and also, I wanted to work in the entertainment Hispanic business here in Los Angeles and in the United States. And that was another challenge because I'm Puerto Rican. I have Puerto Rican accent. I have my uh, heritage from the Caribbean. And I noticed back then that when I got here, like 11 years ago, that even though we are are part of Hispanic or Latin's culture, we also have a lot of differences. And
Mhm.
that was probably the most difficult to work with that. I had to learn and to understand those differences, and I have to dealt with those differences to start working in the entertainment Latin business in the United States.
Yeah, it's definitely, I can relate to some of those. Have you mentioned such as, the accent and all of that? But I cannot imagine in Hollywood, like even, even if you are not Hispanic with a Latinx accent, like how difficult it is to enter the world. So,
Yeah, and
before,
it's also complicated because there's a lot of stereotypes for the Anglo people. There's a lot of stereotypes of how a Hispanic person should look like or
yep.
how it should sounds.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, definitely.
and I didn't fit in those stereotypes.
I have seen those in movies and shows playing Hispanic characters that they're like from different part of.
Yeah, it's really funny now. The Marilyn Monroe movie is
Mhm.
the main character is played by Ana de Armas, and there's a lot of people. I don't know, crazy. They went crazy because a Cuban actress is playing Marilyn Monroe, an iconic figure of the United States. But we have seen a lot of Anglo actors playing Hispanic characters before with their accent. For example, Al Pacino playing Tony Montana in Scarface. He
Yeah.
was playing a character with his, I don't know, Cuban accent, and Ana de Armas now is playing her character with her accent.
Yeah. Whoa. So before we talk about the musical, uh, I think it is important that we talk about Silvia Rivera. So for folks who are watching and might not know much about Silvia Rivera, who was Silvia Rivera?
Most people know Sylvia Rivera because of the Stonewall Inn Rebellion in 1969. But Sylvia Rivera is a very important person in the history of the not only gay liberation, but also in the human rights in the United States and in the world. That's something that I want to stand because that actually there's a lot of people that uh, don't know who Sylvia Rivera was.
Mhm.
And maybe that's one of my main purposes of this play of I Am Sylvia. And Sylvia Rivera was also an activist and community worker in New York. She founded in early 70s a home for runaway kids and kids that were turned away from their parents or family because they were gay. And she, with Marsha P. Johnson, founded this home that it was starved, where a lot of people, kids mostly and teens, went there and they helped them to develop themselves and to accept themselves and to find a job and to study and to grow a
Mhm.
lot of things. Sylvia Rivera was an amazing woman, an amazing woman. We can be talking about her for hours here and maybe
All night.
days. Yeah,
Such amazing impact story that like from the myth of uh, running away from their homes and how you know pivot and make that experience as a positive for LGBTQ youth. That's such amazing. Um, uh, can you give us some insight about the musical I Am Sylvia, and your role in this execution of the musical?
yeah. This play, the first time I fall in love, let's use that word, with Sylvia, it was in 2006. I was in New York visiting one friend that I was dating back then, and he took me to the Stonewall Inn. And when we were there, I had read before about the Stonewall Inn, but I didn't know much about Sylvia Rivera. And he talked to me that night a lot about Sylvia Rivera. And for me, it was something that blew my mind. I said, oh my God,
Hmm.
this is a marvelous and wonderful person. Eh, how I didn't know about her more before today, and that was the it was something that exploded in my head.
Hmm.
I said, okay, I need to learn more about Sylvia Rivera and also about Marsha P. Johnson. She was a wonderful and amazing person too, and a great advocate of human rights and gay liberation movement. And then I started studying Sylvia, studying Marsha, studying the Stonewalling Revolution, and
Hmm.
study all the history of the gay rights movement. And I was watching documentaries and listening to podcasts, reading books, reading articles, newspapers, everything that I could read about Sylvia and Marsha and about the movement. It was my inspiration for this. And I was sure that I wanted to write something about Sylvia because I wanted, since that moment, that not only the LGBTQ community learn about who was Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson, but the whole world, because he was a person so important that I think is everyone in the world should know who were Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. And then in another visit to New York, I was
Hmm.
walking down the street, like one of the songs of I Am Sylvia. I was walking down the streets and I was listening to the sounds of New York. I was listening to the people talking. I was listening to the train. I was listening to the ambulance. I was listening to the music. And I say, oh my God, New York is music. It's
Hmm.
sounds. It's music. Sylvia is New York. I Am
Huh.
Sylvia should be a musical. There's no other way that I can write this than in a musical. And that's what the moment that I decided that I wanted to make a musical about Sylvia Rivera, even though back then I was only a fan of musicals. I never had written a musical before, only songs for plays, because I have
Hmm.
written the adaptation for the Jorobado de Notre Dame and for El Jorobado, yes, the Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Hmm.
and Hercules. But
Oh, excellent.
this Sylvia is the first time that I have to write a whole musical, 29 songs. The whole play is 29 songs and another challenge in English. English is not my first language. And I had to learn a lot. That's why it took a long time to have Sylvia Rivera that is going to be the workshop part of the musical on October 22nd on Bad Theater at the Bronx.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So, what message would you want to send out to queer Latinx creatives across the globe?
We need to tell our stories. That's probably the main message. And we need to make groups with the certain people that will make possible to make our stories. One of the things that I did with Sylvia is that I reach out for the perfect people to do this play. I wrote the book. The book is the story. When you listen or you heard the word book in a musical, it's the whole story. I also wrote the lyrics, And I am not a musician. I was humming the melodies as best I could to make the music. And then I called my friend and my brother and a very dear friend that is Luis Caballero. He's a very well-known Latinx director in New York. And I told him, Luis, I have this project about Silvia Rivera. I want you to read this project. And when Luis read I Am Sylvia, he fell in love with the project. And then we added someone else that is the amazing musical director of I Am Sylvia, Mary Wooden. Mary Wooden have moved I Am Sylvia from the lyrics and the music that I created to something else, something bigger, something wonderful. That's why my advice is to follow your dreams, tell our story, and reach for the perfect group of people to achieve your dreams and to tell your stories.
Thank you for sharing that. Definitely, we must share our stories. Our stories must be heard. So before we go, we just wanted to share a few reminders about HIV, STI prevention, and testing services available through Whitman-Walker. So you can learn about Whitman-Walker health testing hours and locations at www.whitman-walker.org/testing. And HIV and STI testing are available by appointment at Whitman-Walker's locations. You can call us at 202-797-4439 to schedule an appointment, testing appointment, and also to check out our website for the most up-to-date hours. And finally, please save the date for Whitman-Walker's 36th annual Walk to End HIV. This is coming on Saturday, October 22nd. So please register to walk. It's in person this year, and or donate at walktoendhiv.org. And this year's will take place at Whitman-Walker's new medical home on the beautiful campus of St. Elizabeth's in Congress Heights. So please join us. And Abimael, any final thoughts?
Yes, to invite everyone to, if you're in New York, you can go to Bad Bronx Academy and Dance Theater in the Bronx on October 22nd at 8 p.m. You can be there with us in this wonderful and historic moment. It's the first time that there's a play about Sylvia Rivera, a whole play about Sylvia Rivera on Marsha P. Johnson. And if you're not in New York, you can also watch the play online. You can go to the Bad Theater Academy. You can find it in Facebook at Bad Bronx, and you can find it on Google, Bad Academy in Bronx of New York, and you can get the tickets to watch it online as well.
Amazing. So I think that's one of the beauties of after the pandemic that we have learned to stream plays. So definitely take advantage of that, support local artists, and as well, you can do the walk in the morning and watch live this beautiful play. So Abimael, thank you so much for your time, sharing space with us here at Whitman-Walker today. We definitely appreciate your talent, vision, and work. So thank you so much for joining us, and happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.